The story begins like your typical day in Bikini Bottom with the enthusiastic Sandy Cheeks, the thrill-seeking American flying squirrel starting the day right. She immediately calls for Sparky, her mechanical horse, and starts singing while rounding up her friends to join her. She sings about how she moved to Bikini Bottom to study it as her specialty is marine biology. She checks everything, whether checking the coffee pot at the Krusty Krabs or researching sea urchins. She claims she enjoys doing science every day. Later, SpongeBob SquarePants greets Sandy, who he claims has not seen for a while. He explains how, in her absence, he has been practicing his mad skills with the racket. When SpongeBob falls on his butt, she consoles him and claims that with enough practice, one can master any skill. Suddenly, Sandy gets an alert and discovers a large clamp bucket from an excavator truck approaching Bikini Bottom. She quickly grabs SpongeBob and urges Sparky to dash it before they get caught in it. As the ground starts to shake, everyone starts panicking, and all hell breaks loose as they are taken out of the water by an unknown force. The ensuing chaos arouses Sheldon, while Squidward doesn't care and continues to read his magazine. With everyone they know taken away, Sandy zooms in on the clamp bucket and is shocked to discover it belongs to Boots' marine biology lab, whom she claims she works for. She explains that Boots stands for Bureau of Official Texas Science. While SpongeBob weeps after losing everyone he knows, Sandy calls on her colleagues Kyle and Phoebe from the lab. She discovers that Boots is now a division of Gushing Waters Waterpark and is soon home to the Sea Pals that the mysterious tsunami operates. Suddenly, the call was terminated, and she could no longer contact them. Sandy consoles SpongeBob and promises to return their friends, claiming to know where they were taken. When SpongeBob discovers that it's in Texas, he gets excited. Sandy immediately does a quick math on how to get there when a volcanic vent suddenly appears. She believes it will have enough force to take them to the surface. She quickly pulls SpongeBob to the bottom of the ditch and thinks that if they can ride its bubbles, they will definitely reach the top. She then pulls out a shell and rides it out like she is surfing, which SpongeBob follows. As soon as they are in the air, Sandy quickly pulls SpongeBob and hitches a ride on an oncoming plane. After 14 long hours, SpongeBob is reminded of Squidward when he tries to eat a sausage while Sandy is busy calculating the jump they must do to reach their destination. Sandy suddenly kicks SpongeBob off the plane and she jumps after him. She grabbed him in midair and they skillfully glided towards Boots' lab. Sandy was surprised to find a water park built on top of the lab. When they were fast approaching it, they were suddenly pulled in by a random twister out of nowhere and thrown off from their original destination. With Galveston far off, Sandy claims they'll have to walk to get there. While walking, she wonders what Boots' lab could have wanted with Bikini Bottom. SpongeBob suspects they might have wanted to take out people's brains and make them fight in a terror dome. Or perhaps they are replacing everyone with robots. Sandy tells him that science is not all about conspiracy theories. Walking outside, Sandy and SpongeBob suddenly find themselves surrounded by a den of rattlesnakes. Sandy warns them to leave them alone, but when they refuse, she is forced to defend herself. Little did they know that she was a master in karate and skillfully took them on all at once. When she recklessly charges at the leader, she gets bit and swollen up from the snake venom. Although she claims to be an independent squirrel, she is forced to use the Cheeks family whistle on them. Out of nowhere, the Cheeks family circus car arrives in response to her distress call. After realizing that she called them for help, Pa Cheeks assembles the rest of the family and attacks the rattlesnakes. When that wasn't enough to scare them away, Ma Cheeks suggested they do the rolling thunderball. They quickly jump onto a boulder and roll over the rattlesnakes, forcing them to shed their skin and slither away. Ma Cheeks quickly sucks the poison out of Sandy, to which she then reverts to her old self. With that all taken care of, Pa Cheeks quickly heads to their next destination without even asking Sandy. Using a coordinated effort from the family, they quickly started the car. Sandy stops them and tells them she is headed for Galveston, Texas, where Bikini Bottom and the rest of their friends were taken. With that said, the Cheeks family quickly detours towards Boots' lab to help Sandy and SpongeBob save their friends. The car suddenly broke down while Randy was showing SpongeBob the world's most irresistible wink. SpongeBob wonders if they need to wake Sandy up because she is good at fixing stuff, but Randy claims he can handle this. Meanwhile, Ma Cheeks calls Sandy over for breakfast. Being back in the car brings back memories of her with the circus. Although she missed it, Sandy explains that her love for science triumphs over the circus. Later, SpongeBob claims to know what happened to the car and takes out a raccoon. Pa Cheeks quickly releases it back to the wild and warns him to be careful next time with wild animals as they can have rabies. The Bikini Bottom is placed inside a glass display at Boots' lab. Once everything calmed down, Mr. Krabs suggested someone check outside but was later forced to do it himself when no one volunteered. He ventures outside to find Bikini Bottom is still a mess after they were taken out from the sea. He was almost scared to death when Gary and Patrick sneaked up on him. When he finally reaches the edge, he is horrified to find a giant human looking down on him, and he quickly runs back to the Krusty Krab. Outside, Phoebe wonders if they caught everyone from Bikini Bottom. She asks Kyle if he has been sleep-eating them as she doesn't see anyone moving around inside. She resorts to asking the computer, but it doesn't respond too well, which Kyle explains was because she spilt coffee on it. The computer informs them that Sandy and SpongeBob are unaccounted for, which Phoebe worries their boss isn't going to like. Suddenly, Tsunami shows up with her dog Kuda, who overhears their conversation. When Tsunami discovers SpongeBob is missing, she gets so furious that she violently shakes the glass globe where Bikini Bottom is. She claims that they do not understand SpongeBob's importance, so she plays the promotional video for Sea Pals. Due to declining sales for sea creatures, Sea Pals is a revolutionary project to turn sea creatures into air breathers so kids can pet and cuddle them all they want. They start the transformation with Phase 1, where they feed them with genetically modified paste to prepare them for the next phase. In Phase 2, their DNA is then altered by the patented gene machines to turn them into air breathers. Once it reaches the final phase, they will start cloning them for mass production. Before she leaves, Tsunami urges Kyle and Phoebe to begin Phase 1 and search for SpongeBob. With the scared citizens of Bikini Bottom hiding at the Krusty Krabs, Kyle and Phoebe start feeding them with genetically modified food to fatten them up. While everyone else enjoys the free food, Mr. Krabs worries that he won't sell any food anymore. Once they are fattened up, Phoebe scoops up Patrick and places him in the gene machine for Phase 2. Kyle scoops up Mr. Krabs and Squidward and together transform into becoming air breathers. Once they have become one, Tsunami begins testing and calls in the focus group. Despite being subject to aggressive playing, Tsunami feels the testing is successful and quite satisfied with the results. Meanwhile, SpongeBob asks Randy to teach him how to do the Cheeks family whistle when cops suddenly show up. Randy picks up the pace and tries to run away. Pa Cheeks wonders why he is running from the cops, explaining he has stolen nuts in the back. As they try to lose the police car, they jump off a cliff, where they are caught in another Texas twister. The police car ferociously chases after them with another twister. They gave it the slip when Sandy threw an anchor to escape the twister and return to the road. When they thought they had made the slip, more cops showed up in cars and choppers. Pa Cheeks calls Sandy and SpongeBob to the back and loads them up in a cannon. Sandy feels bad leaving so soon after reuniting with her family. Randy claims he has placed enough power to blast them high enough to reach the water park. Although they forgot to bring their parachutes, Sandy uses her wings to glide and finally reach their destination. While searching for the lab, Kuda appears behind and chases them all over the water park, where it even chases after them in the water. Sandy and SpongeBob climb up the slide to lose the dog chasing after them. After finally finding the lab, Kuda shows up, intent on pursuing them wherever they go. They lure him over to a volcano fountain to throw him off. They escape in a water drain, but Kuda is still on their trail. They go around him unnoticed and find themselves inside the lab. SpongeBob is ecstatic after finding the others and the Bikini Bottom in one piece. He quickly goes over to where Patrick and the others are, but is later captured by Kyle when Phoebe spots him. Sandy quickly realizes what Sea Pals are and confronts Tsunami about it. She goes feral on her but is quickly captured and thrown into a cage. Tsunami then tells Kyle to bring SpongeBob over to the cloning machine. Mr. Krabs tells Sandy that the humans plan on cloning them and selling them as pets. Sandy is disappointed with Phoebe and Kyle, who explain that they were easily swayed by the promise of getting them a vending machine. Sandy questions Tsunami's intentions, to which she then tells her story. Growing up, she has always wanted to cuddle and sleep with the fishes, but every time she does, they keep on dying. Thanks to her family's fortune, she traveled the world swimming with swordfish and octopi. It wasn't until the incident with piranhas in Peru that she lost her human body, to which she shockingly revealed to now have a mechanical body. She explains that she even discovered Bikini Bottom thanks to Sandy's science and research. Everyone was shocked that she was used to spy on them, especially Sandy. They successfully clone SpongeBob by turning his body into tiny little ones until the original body disappears without a trace, much to everyone's grief. Tsunami tells them that they will have to wait until the little SpongeBobs grow in size. Out of nowhere, Kuda shows up chasing after Sandy and SpongeBob, and when he sees the little SpongeBob in the device, he pushes it and sets them free. Tsunami orders Phoebe and Kyle to fix the device and catch the little SpongeBobs. SpongeBob convinces Sandy to save her home, the Bikini Bottom, which has become her second family. Hearing SpongeBob's speech about family, Kyle and Phoebe decide to switch sides. They help Sandy break free, who trips Tsunami with the hamster wheel. She then climbs up on top of Tsunami and messes with the wiring on her body. Once she is through making her dance to the music, she kicks Tsunami in the head, where it flies towards the giant fish that she is so fond of. It swallows her whole, to which she later realizes she has finally become a fish herself. When Mr. Krabs discovers that they can reconstitute SpongeBob by combining all the little ones, he calls on Patrick and Squidward for help. With SpongeBob back, they must take Bikini Bottom back into the ocean as the glass globe leaks. Unable to carry it themselves, Sandy and SpongeBob think of using Rolling Thunder, but they would need the help of the Cheeks family circus. Sandy was about to do the family whistle when she realized that she lost a tooth and could not do so. SpongeBob steps up and does the family whistle in her place. Suddenly, the ground shakes, and the Cheeks family circus arrives in a flashy entrance, using the twister to blow off the lab's roof. Cheeks family starts running on top of the globe, but it doesn't budge, which Randy explains is too heavy for them. Sandy claimed having two families would be more than enough when it was too heavy for one family. Using the cage, they make a giant hamster wheel to generate enough static energy for Sparky's lower body to thrust them into the air. Once everyone is in position, Sandy's family takes charge of the top of the wheel while SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs run in the bottom. Once they have generated enough energy, the giant glass globe flies into the air and outer space. After calculating their descent, Sandy signals them to jump again to send them hurling towards the ocean and back to where Bikini Bottom is supposed to be. Several months later, the Cheeks family circus moved into Bikini Bottom and performed at the Krusty Krabs. Kyle and Phoebe develop a shrink ray and visit Bikini Bottom while Mr. Krabs sells his patties to the crowd. Sandy and her family give Bikini Bottom the greatest performance yet. The end. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.